Welcome back to Centera Park in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Scott Sudikoff, Liz Robertshaw, Megan Triplett on the sidelines. Happy to have you with us on Lac Sports Network, getting ready for semifinal number one. Elon Phoenix head coach Josh Hexter in his 6th year, the only head coach in the program's history. And over on the JMU sideline, Shelly Clays Baucom, 13th year as the head coach, of course, coaching her alma mater. National championship victory a season ago for this James Madison program, and now a 5-time CAA Coach of the Year. Inside the Elon huddle, getting set, is Paulina DeFada, the starting goalie for the Phoenix. She's 3rd in the CAA with a 48.7% save percentage, redshirt sophomore from Dix Hills, New York. And on the other side, for James Madison, also a redshirt sophomore from Alexandria, Virginia, the goalie of the year in the CAA this season, Molly Dougherty. And she ranks 4th in the country in save percentage and 10th in the nation in goals against average. It is a pretty perfect afternoon for lacrosse, maybe a little hot, 82 degrees, mostly sunny right now. There is a chance of a thunderstorm that could roll its way through here over the course of this semifinal day. We'll hope that it'll wait until we're done later with Towson and Hofstra. And Liz, we had the chance to sit down with both of these teams yesterday, and I know you were super impressed with how both teams handle themselves, especially being in such different situations when you compare JMU to Elon.
Absolutely. You know, sitting down and talking with Coach Hexter, it was impressive that he noted the youth, but at the same time, he said, I love where this team is right now. You know, to win today's game and to battle for this whole weekend, he said, we're going to have to balance our ability to go guns blazing like they did in the William and Mary game to get into this tournament where they're going to have to be fearless, go to cage. At the same time, they can't take careless and reckless shots. They're going to have to drain that play clock down, the possession clock down just a little bit to make sure their team isn't playing too much defense. He sounds excited about it, confident about the young kids he has out there, and that they're all ready to play this game. On the flip side, you have JMU, who they started off a little slow in the season, but then once Hannah Haven got her feel for the game, she's just been taking off. She is such a great dodger. When they send doubles, which obviously Elon's going to do, she's going to look for feeds for Maddie McDaniel, and she's going to be looking for Logan Brennan and all of her teammates in there. So you have one team that's just going to go right for the jugular with JMU. They're going to go after them. And I think Elon's going to have to be a little bit more patient and possessive of the ball. So I think that's what you're going to see, you know, in the early parts of the games. But I think both teams, doesn't matter if you're a returning champion or if you're first time here, you're going to have a couple jitters. So the first possessions are going to be key to getting touches, getting the ball working around, and getting quality shots on net for both teams.
On the draw, it'll be Maddie McDaniel for James Madison, number 11 in white. She's 2nd in the CAA at 6 draw control victories per game. She obviously has a height advantage at 6 feet tall. Jillian Curran, freshman from New Jersey, stands at 5'7", 57 draw control victories for her. And if you're Elon, you want to get this ball on the ground on the draw control and not let McDaniel win it to herself.
Yeah, they need to keep it scrappy, and that was something they said they worked all week on, and it's paid off right here. First draw control for Elon, but they've worked on it. They know how crucial that it's going to be to get the ball in their stick.
All right, Liz, you just touched on it a little bit here, but Elon on offense, they want to play a low-scoring game. If they can win this game 8-7, that's probably the way it's going to happen. They're probably not going to win in a double-digit type of game.
You never know, but you can even see right here. They're patient. They're going to get set up. They're going to work the ball. I'd be surprised, unless it's a fast break, that we'll see a shot before 60 seconds on the clock. To be honest, I'll be surprised if we see it before 30 seconds.
So Elon will work it around the perimeter on this opening possession. Mae McGlynn, leading goal scorer, number 5 out there, has 40 goals on the year. Ball in her cross right there. Now she gives it up to Shannon Horan, who is one of the team captains and really the vocal team leader for. Trying to dodge from the left is McGlynn. Drew a slide. Horan will back it out. Pass to the middle, and it's knocked out of the stick there, and that's that JMU defense. And getting the ground ball is Molly Dougherty, the talented redshirt sophomore goalie for the Dukes.
And no doubt that Caroline Stanovich was in on that double team and that caused turnover.
The defensive player of the year, Stanovich, the only CAA player named to the top 25 Tuarton list. So now James Madison on offense for the first time today, and obviously a very talented offensive team, over 13 goals per game. But there's been times that Shelley Claes-Bockum has been upset with the way her offense is played.
Yeah, there's definitely been times they've been a little careless with the ball. We've seen over the year. It's some jitters. They obviously are filling some huge holes from 2018, and so a lot of these players have had to find their way. So they're moving the ball well, which is great. They're trying to get good looks. That was a great look. They just need to finish it, and that's something Coach Claes-Bockum said. They need to finish on their opportunities. So I think they're going to look to fix that shot moving forward. That
was a shot by Kelsey Reed, second-team All-CAA performer. Snagged by the goalie, Paulina DeFata. And now Elon with the successful clear. Just underway in this one, 2.5 minutes gone by. Elon, the 4 seed. They went 3-3 in the conference. They won their conference finale 12-9 over William and Mary to clinch the spot in the tournament. Meanwhile, James Madison, another perfect year in the conference at 6-0, 14-3 overall. All 3 losses this year for James Madison coming against current top 6 teams in the nation. Here's McGlynn inside the 8 meters, back out to Haran. JMU defense is 14th in the country, allowing just 9.1 goals per game.
I think this is smart from Elon. They're doing a good job possessing the ball. They're working that possession clock down. And then they're looking for inside hits. So they have some players that are cutting in the middle. You can see right now, they're looking for it. Not a bad crease roll opportunity.
That's Kaylee Thompson, the Rookie of the Year in the CAA, who has a lot of freedom for the shots that she takes, and which helped her get to the #1 spot in top 10 plays earlier this year.
Kaylee mentioned to us that she has been given that green light to try new things, to try different shots, and I think that's so important when you're trying to grow a freshman into a leading scorer. And literally, Josh said, this is going to go. This is going to be the player that we're going to look to in the future.
A yellow card very early on in this one, believed to Jillian Curran. And so, James Madison will have the 2-minute advantage right now. A player up. So Curran sitting down on the designated chair at the end of the sideline. And James Madison now will work the player up for a couple of minutes. And the penalty time will be over at about 24:30 on the clock here at Santerra Park. Hannah Haven leading JMU this year with 36 goals. But they have certainly gotten production from other players.
And JMU right here is just playing a simple 3-2-2. They're going to look to expose the elbows in a shooting space call, just like Hannah Haven does right there.
So Haven will get the opportunity, 11 for 24 this year. We talked to Paulina DeFata yesterday, and she said that she enjoys facing these 8-meter opportunities, and she gets one early here against one of the best in the country. Haven scores it, and James Madison on the board first, 1-0. Just a tick under 4 minutes gone by here in the first half. 37th goal of the year for the senior from Syracuse.
Hannah Haven is so dangerous from that spot. And this is going to start her game off well.
Hannah told us yesterday that it took a little bit of time early in the year for the attack to find themselves as a unit, and they certainly have been able to do that. 16 goals against William & Mary, 16 against Elon in the regular season matchup. That came after that double overtime victory over Hofstra, 9-8. And we asked Coach Shelley Claes-Bockum about that game, and specifically that, going into a game, you don't want to play a double overtime, 1-goal game that you have to win late. But looking back at it, are you happy that you had that experience? And the answer was yes.
I think any coach is going to say that and mean it, because when it gets into the playoff and the postseason, you're going to have tight games, and you need to know how to handle it. And Maddie McDaniel, again, with the draw control, so dominant with the self-draw.
She stands 6 feet, but then with the long arms and the stick, just a tremendous advantage for the junior from Severna Park, Maryland. That was her 103rd draw control of the season. The first team All-CAA performer had 11 in the meeting with Elon, the regular season matchup that was just April 19th, so not that long ago these teams played. Scott Sudikoff, Liz Robertshaw with you. Megan Triplett is on the sidelines for us all weekend. We'll be checking in with her in just a moment. And a turnover. Ground ball picked up by the Phoenix. And shuffled away. Nicely done by Quinn Daly, a very rare sophomore captain on this Elon team. And it goes back to Daly. Spinning inside the 8 meters and draws a call. And so Quinn Daly, this is exactly what Josh Hexter told us. He wants to see Quinn Daly get more involved in the offense in an early free position for her.
And again, nice job taking it to cage hard right there. Got a shooting space call. It's anytime a defender is kind of in a dangerous position between the shooter and the goalkeeper that's farther than a stick's length, results in a free position. And Elon's got to love those calls and getting them all day.
But to the strategy that Elon wants to go with here, not rush it unless obviously it was a slam dunk type of opportunity. Quinn Daly 1 for 7 this year on free positions. And in the end, Elon turns it over and coming out with it, number 30, Kelsey Reed. 8 different players on this James Madison team, all CAA performers, and of course, the CAA Coach of the Year as well. Two of James Madison's losses this year have come at home, and it was that back-to-back that they had against Virginia and Maryland, where again, it was a tough schedule either way, but then coming in as the defending national champions against teams like Virginia and Maryland that certainly strive to be at that level as well, made it for a tough couple of games.
And that's something Shelly's going to do in scheduling. You're going to schedule the top competition. You need to get your team battle ready because they have aspirations of getting back to the NCAA tournament and getting back to championship weekend. So you have to do that to your team, and I think they've learned a lot from it.
This is Rachel Mady, freshman from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. And now coming out from behind the net.
Hannah Haven was in the face guard. She shook it right there, got the ball, and that's something JMU is going to look to give it to her every time.
Dodging around Voorhees. Defada knocks it away. And this is important for Elon to get these ground balls and limit the second chance opportunities. And now some transition potentially for the Phoenix. Shannon Horan ahead for McGlynn. Rolls into the outside and bounces it home. May McGlynn ties it up for Elon with her 41st goal of the year. So you get the defensive stop by Defada, the ground ball by Horan, moves in transition, and finds their goal scorer, McGlynn.
That was a textbook 5v4. I love the speed that this young group of Elon Phoenix took and taking the ball. No JMU player was within 20 yards. They had a 5-on-4. They got it down. They moved the ball. It looked great, and that's going to give this young team confidence.
So look at it here again, the transition by Horan and finding McGlynn for the nice spin. To the outside, she'll spin.
Kind of an awkward little tough bounce shot right there. Dougherty thought she had it and coming out, but skipped right over her shoulder. That's going to happen on grass fields like this. It doesn't have a true bounce like a turf, but that's a really great transition offensive attack right there.
So McGlynn now a team-high 44 points on the season. Horan does get the assist, her 4th of the year. Now our 3rd draw control of the game. They've been split so far, the first 2. And it's the 2nd straight, though, that McDaniel has won to herself just like that. James Madison with the free position goal by Haven. And McGlynn with the tally just a moment ago for Elon. Stick in the way there of Palmer Voorhees, but Hannah Haven able to recover it. The roll to the outside, and Defada makes the stop. In close there, Logan Brennan. Another good story for this James Madison team, who was a scout player last year, has now scored 31 goals this year as a junior.
I love stories like that. I love when kids just put their head down, go to work, then all of a sudden they're rewarded for that work, and they gain confidence in playing someone else. They don't have to think like a freshman and try to be someone they're not, and then all of a sudden it clicks. The light bulb moment happens, and then kid becomes a starter. It's a great story.
8 minutes gone by here in the first half, and if you're Elon, it's kind of gone the pace that you'd like to see. Kaylee Thompson with the split dodge and the score. The CAA Rookie of the Year with her 32nd goal, and Elon has a 2-1 advantage here in Centera Park.
I think right now Elon's taking better shots. They're penetrating in, they're getting shots right on top. And I just think that's a situation right now that JMU is getting the looks they want, but they're not finishing them. They're not seeing the goalie and putting the ball around her. And if they want to turn the tide, I know Coach Kaylee Thompson is going to say, hey, guys, settle down and shoot better. Elon, Josh has to be extremely excited about the way his team is shooting. They look great.
All right, let's go down to Megan Triplett with more on today's matchup.
Thanks, Scott. Now, if you see, James Madison made a change up in the lineup on the defense. They decided to start junior defender Kristen Russell. And head coach Kaylee Thompson praised Kristen, saying that she's an amazing student. She's a servant of the team, and that when she made the change, the whole team clapped for her. She's replacing Rachel Mady, and Rachel even was clapping for her and said Kristen deserves this chance.
Thank you so much, Megan. Yeah, just a great story. We were really told this from both the players and Shelly Claes-Bockham yesterday with the change. And what's maybe the most important part of the change to note is that the team kind of went to the coaching staff and said, hey, we think our best defense has Kristen Russell in the lineup. And after a couple of games, the coaches went, hey, you know what? You guys are right. And then the fact that Rachel Mady herself, a freshman who has worked hard, has had a great season, says, hey, yeah, no, go for it. Whatever's best for the team.
I think that speaks volumes about the way this team conducts itself, the communication, the honesty, and the openness that the coaching staff can have with the team. And again, it's paying off. That's why right now they're hosting the CAA championship.
James Madison can have a chance here now to tie the game with a free position for Charlotte Haggerty, sophomore from Bel Air, Maryland. 4 for 8 this year on free positions. Hannah Haven scored earlier for the Dukes on the 8-meter. DeFato with a great kick save with the right leg. And so she has stopped one of the 2 free positions against her. And that's her 4th save already here in the first 9 minutes of the first half. And she seems to be dialed in early on here for the Phoenix.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for Elon to have that confidence in cage that they can make stops, because they're going to continue to see JMU coming down against them, as you can see it cause turnover right here. But if your goalie's feeling it, that's going to give you a lot of confidence defensively to keep taking chances and keep taking risks.
2-1 Elon. Goals by McGlynn and Thompson for the Phoenix, both in the run of play. Meanwhile, Haven's goal, as mentioned, a free position for the Dukes. They've won 8 of 10 games here at home, hoping to add 2 more victories this season to their home record and clinch a berth in the NCAA tournament. National champions a year ago. Made 4 consecutive trips to the NCAA tournament through traffic and going low and scoring. Excellent move, and that was Logan Brennan, a junior, notching her 32nd of the year. You can see from this view how she had to maneuver through the traffic.
Yeah, I think that's really impressive. She didn't stop her feet. You know, a lot of times you see younger players, a little bit youthful players, going in, they see the slide coming, they stop their feet, and that usually correlates to a turnover. Logan did a nice job right there. Kept the feet moving, kept her eyes on net and her hands ready to shoot, and was able to get that great shot tucked into the lower right-hand side.
So we're tied here 2-2. After the goal by Brennan, named to the second team All-CAA after her regular season performance. And now that is a little bit of a change on the draw control for Elon in terms of who is taking it. And, you know, a couple of times Elon has been able to get the draw control on the ground. They won that first one. This one, James Madison comes out with it. It was Campbell Armstrong, by the way, who was taking the turn on the draw there against McDaniel. So now James Madison looking for a second straight tally and looking to regain the lead. JMU started the season as the number 4 team in the rankings. Have stayed in the top 10 for most of the year. Right now, number 9 in the Inside Lacrosse media poll. And this foul goes against James Madison. What did you see there, Liz?
Push off. I mean, like I said, Hannah Haven seeing a face guard right now. She's doing a lot of work to try to shake it off. Right there, she just, pushed off a little bit of a ward. It could have been called either way. I think right now Elon's doing a nice job in the face guard. They're not fouling, which is huge and typically happens. So the fact that she might be getting to Hannah a little bit, that she gave that push off, but she, unfortunately or fortunately, it depends on your side, did it right in front of the official. So if you're going to do any plays like that, don't do it in front of the officials to make those calls.
And through the first 10 minutes of this game, looking at Elon's defense, have they been doing the things that Josh Hexter was hoping that they would do?
I believe they have. They said they're going to work on some of their sliding packages, make it easier for the double teams to come. They've done that. Obviously, with the face guard in Hannah Haven, that's something they're going to be excited for. And they've limited. I mean, yes, they've given up 6 shots right now, but they haven't been great ones. So I do feel like the work they put in on the draw controls as well as on the defensive end is paying off. And I think we're seeing the same thing down here on offense as well. They're possessing the ball. They look confident for a young team. And they're down by 1 right now. Tied up right now. So then where they want to be.
And now they're up by 1 on Mae McGlynn's second goal of the game. She has bounced both of them home so far by Molly Dougherty. And in your opinion, do you think that's something that Mae McGlynn maybe sees on tape and says, I gotta go for the bounce shot against such a good goalie like Dougherty, or is maybe just what is presenting itself here so far?
I think any good attacker is going to watch film and know where a goalie is a little bit weaker. And so that should be doing her homework. That's something that I know in talking with Coach Hexter, they've done their homework and they've really prepared for this game. So I would anticipate they've watched tons of tape on Dougherty and they know where they can shoot on her.
And we've seen so far McGlynn has been very good off the dodge. There were a couple of things that over the course of the year that coaching staff hoping that she would work on. And that's the typical type of thing, off-ball movement, making sure you're always getting to the right spot. But so far, her dodge ability today has been there. She's got 42 goals now on the year. And Elon with their second 1-goal lead so far of this first half. And again, Campbell Armstrong, who stands at 5'11", so listed just 1 inch smaller than Maddie McDaniel. And even if, it's going to be a win there for Kaylee Thompson. I was going to say, even if JMU comes out with it in that instance, I think you're happy on the Elon sideline because it's not the McDaniel self-win that starts a transition.
Right.
At the very least, you would have had to force JMU to move most of the field. Better yet, though, they get the win themselves.
Exactly, and again, the goals you've seen right now, with the exception of the fast break, you're seeing them under 45 seconds. So they are taking time off the clock, they're getting touches, and they're seeing where the soft spots are in this JMU zone defense.
And the first thing that Josh Hexter said to us yesterday was, I love how we are. And a lot of people will say, well, the 3-3 team in the conference at 6-11 overall, you love how you are. But it's more than that, obviously, right? It's a super young team that has that really fought off a very tough stretch in the middle of the year.
Yeah, and he's also said he's loved the fact that they're putting in the work, that they're getting better, that it's clicking, and that they're a ton of fun.
Free position opportunity for Elon. And it's just spun back outside by Grace Simpson. 45 on the clock, so you're only halfway through the possession clock here for Elon. Thompson was trying to get open to the top. Instead, dishes it off to Haran. 30 on the clock now for the Phoenix offense. Trying to get an early 2-goal lead here. Thompson can't control the pass, but JMU not pressuring too much there, so Thompson able to scoop it back up. 15 to shoot.
At this point, JMU is not going to go pressuring out. They want to, make them take a bad shot, make them shoot, or keep the ball outside the 8-meter. So you're not going to see that high pressure.
McGlynn gets the shot off with 5 on the clock, and now the clock runs all the way down, and that'll be a shot clock violation, but again, I would think on the sideline, and I do see the coaching staff clapping, that they're happy with the fact that, all right, you work the clock down, you got a pretty good shot off, just a slightly off cage, and in the end, JMU has to go the length of the field.
Exactly, and from a coach's perspective, when that shot clock drains, you want the ball behind the cage, because with the current rules, where the ball dies, that's where the team opponent is going to get the ball to push that transition. So you definitely don't want it at the top of the 8 or the 12. You want it behind cage to make the stretch a lot longer to push.
Rachel Mady was up top of the offense, now moving inside the 8 meters. Looking to feed from behind the goal, Logan Brennan.
You can see Hannah Haven in that face guard right there. Nice, low in that pizza slice.
Backing out with it. JMU offense. And dodging down the right side, but nothing available to shoot there for Lizzie Fox, who dealing with an injury and playing through it. And James Madison ties it back up here, 3-3.
Lizzie Fox did a really nice job there of keeping the attacking play moving. She took a nice dodge next to Hannah Haven because there would be no slide in that face guard. So she had a look, slide from crease came up, didn't have it, but then kept it going throughout the cage, kept her feet moving, eyes on cage, great finish. You can see right here a little rocker dodge and keeps the feet moving.
She's playing through a shoulder injury right now, freshman from North Rockland, New York. And that's her 16th goal this season.
And this is going to be something Coach Claes Bockham made a comment of. Their team is deeper than they thought. They've learned that with some of the injuries that have happened through the course of the season. And they're going to need that. If Hannah's going to be in a face guard, if some of their other players aren't getting the looks on cage, they're going to need multiple scoring threats in order to win today, and if they can move past today, on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, she mentioned yesterday, heading into the season opener against North Carolina, right before, kind of like, I asked her, what were you thinking about your team? And she just, what was your outlook? And basically at that time she said, I didn't know. I wasn't sure with how my team would come together.
Honesty in a coach. I mean, everyone likes to say they know, and then you hit that first game and it kind of smacks you in the face and you don't really know. So I love that Coach Claes Bockham was like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, North Carolina won that game 18-7. Of course, now the number 2 team in the country, the only team to beat the number 1 team that was for most of the year, Boston College. Of course, James Madison has a win over BC that they're pretty proud of from last year in the national championship game. Haggerty kind of face dodge to the left, and now moving away from the ball, cutting and shooting was Daria Lucchese, and Defana with her 5th save of this first half. But for the first time here, JMU able to get a ground ball after a shot and have a second opportunity at cage.
They've picked up the pace right now. You can see they're cutting harder. See what that, yep, great shot.
McDaniel goes high, which is pretty easy for her, and she scores her 30th.
This offensive set is the best one they've had yet this game. They're playing faster, they're playing sharper, they're taking some nice looks at cage, and they're finding each other. Finding a 6-foot-tall Maddie McDaniel, I mean, that's a great look, and she finishes very well.
Give the assist to Kelsey Reed. So McDaniel netting her 30th of the year. Lizzie Fox had the goal just a few moments ago, her 16th, and JMU has scored 2 consecutive goals and have taken a 4-3 lead.
It was fun talking to Maddie McDaniel yesterday. We said, where do you like to cut from, dodge from? What's your favorite way to score? And she's like, I like to cut. And, on a goal like that, you can see why. She's very soft-spoken, which is funny for a 6-foot-tall player who's so dominant on the draw control and on attack. But, again, likes to cut, and I feel like she's a great person to feed in there.
And getting to the ground ball, Shannon Horan, senior from New Jersey, one of the captains for the Phoenix. And now JMU has jumped back in front, but so far we've got a back and forth game through the first portion of this first half. And Elon had a lead on 2 occasions, 2-1, 3-2. And even though they're not winning right now, I think they got to feel pretty good about where they're standing against this number 9 team in the country. And James Madison looking for a third consecutive CAA championship. And they're trying to be, especially the senior class and the juniors as well, want to be a part of history because there's only one other program that has been able to do that in CAA history, and it's Towson.
And anyone knows the conference, knows JMU Towson, knows that JMU doesn't want to let up anything to the Towson Tigers. So that's definitely something they are chasing.
Of course, coming up next, semifinal number 2, Towson and Hofstra, a rematch of a 1-goal game just a couple of weeks ago in the regular season. Curran. 17 on the clock. Thompson trying to dodge around Lauren Duvall. Now there's 8 to shoot. Curran gets one on goal. Pretty easy stop for Dougherty.
That's a great defensive set right there for James Madison. They're settling in. They're playing good one-on-one defense. They're really limiting the penetration looks from Elon, and I think that is frustrating Elon a little bit. They're going to have to kind of get back to those hard cuts, those hard dodges, down to cage, and get rid of some of this lateral cutting. It's not really happening for them, but I give all the credit to JMU on that defensive set. Really solid.
JMU out shooting Elon so far 9-6. Paulina Defada has made 5 saves for Elon. Molly Dougherty just making her second stop for the Dukes. James Madison has won 5 of the first 8 draw controls. And again, I feel like kind of repeating this, but Elon, you've won 3 of 8 draw controls. That's another thing you're probably happy with so far, considering what Maddie McDaniel could do. Speaking of Maddie McDaniel, that was a very tough catch, having to reach down below her hip to get that one. Shot it wide, but Elon was closest to the back line.
That was a tough feed in there for Maddie McDaniel. Kind of caught her hands really tight in there, but she got the shot off again. JMU has to do a little bit better job of making sure behind the cage is set up. You don't want to be turning the ball over behind net.
Elon almost turning it over. Now they do. It's the 5th turnover for the Phoenix. JMU quickly trying to attack. Carried in there by Stanowich. Does have a goal and assist this season, so it's not unheard of to see her get in the offense a little bit.
One of the things I was so impressed with talking with Caroline Stanowich was that she said, we will get the ball as many times as the attack needs to find success. And I think when your leading defender as well as your goalie can say that, that just gives the offense so much confidence to take risks, take chances, and learn the identity they want to be. And it's been the entire season of figuring out what kind of attacking unit they want to be after the loss of such great scoring players last year.
Good split dodge and the finish. Daria Lucchese, her 14th goal of the year, sophomore from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. We were told in the meeting yesterday, someone who played football and ice hockey growing up, and not afraid to attack just like this.
I mean, love it. Kept her feet moving the whole time, eyes on cage, nice little stutter step right there. I mean, she's got a great burst of speed. That's a tough player for anyone to stop right there defensively, and especially I think there, Elon was a little late on their slides. They're so focused on sliding to Hannah Haven that I think some other players are going to have those opportunities to take one-on-one looks, and I think that's something Coach Hexter will address at halftime. Hey, we've got to slide to everyone taking those one-on-one drives.
So it's the first 2-goal lead of the game for either side. James Madison has netted 3 consecutive goals. Fox, McDaniel, and now Lucchese with 10:52 remaining in the first half. James Madison 5, Elon 3. Coming up next on Lac Sports Network, we'll be right back here at Santera Park for the second CAA semifinal. Third-seeded Hofstra takes on number 2 seed Towson. The game is scheduled to start at 7 p.m. And keep it locked here between games. We'll go back to the LSN Broadcast Center and Tom Eschen and crew, and they will, they'll recap this one and get you ready for the second semifinal and some other lacrosse action going on today. Both the Ivy League men's and women's tournaments happening today. And obviously there was a ton of action yesterday, and plenty of championship games coming tomorrow as well. So there's plenty to talk about, I think, this weekend in lacrosse.
If you're a Lax fan, this is a fun weekend.
Lucchese to McDaniel. Second for Maddie McDaniel. And Lucchese, who just scored, now picks up the helper. And James Madison asserting itself now with 4 straight goals on top, 6-3. And now Elon calling a timeout. We'll see McDaniel.
Such a great look.
Side.
I mean, that's textbook JMU. That's something they've been banking on for the past couple weeks now. McDaniel's gotten so confident in her shooting and her cutting ability. This is going to be something right now. Beth Ellis-Roberts down there, the defensive coach for Elon, is going to be talking about some adjustments that need to be made. They definitely have to figure out some things and slow down the scoring right now.
Speaking of the LSN Broadcast Center, let's check in with Tom Eschen.
Tom Eschen here in the LSN studios. We're finding out right now who will play in the women's championship. The men's finalists, though, in the CAA decided last night in Amherst. It's Drexel, the 4 seed, and Towson, the 2 seed, in the championship. The Dragons upsetting the host Minutemen 15-12 in the first semifinal. Towson dominating Delaware 18-11 in that second semifinal. Here's how they did it. Drexel jumping out to a 5-1 lead in the first quarter against UMass, never looking back. Matthew Varian, Marshall King, Colin Mailman, all at hat tricks, putting up 15 goals against the #1 defensive team in the CAA. Meanwhile, with Alex Woodall available but not playing due to injury, Towson backup face-off specialist Jack McNallen set a CAA tournament record, going 27-31 at the X. Towson as a team didn't lose a face-off in the entire second half. You see 3 different Tigers scoring 4 goals. The stage is set. Towson and Drexel, just so you know, played a week ago. That was an 11-9 Towson comeback victory. We'll see what happens tomorrow right here on LSN at 1 p.m. Let's go back out to Harrisonburg to find out who will play in the women's championship.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Looking inside the JMU huddle, and they have been able to score 4 straight goals to take a 6-3 lead. But Liz, you were just talking to me during the timeout about Paulina DeFada for Elon, and that James Madison has had to work hard because it looks like she's pretty locked in. She's made 5 saves. It just goes to show how dynamic JMU's offense can be, though.
Yeah, I think that right now Paulina DeFada is doing a fantastic job coming out, cutting down her angles. And you've seen in the last few goals that JMU have scored, they've literally been tucked in the corners, down the pipeline, and that just shows that JMU's been working on their shooting. The first couple shots, they were hitting her as she was coming out and closing down that angle. JMU has upped their game. It shows that they know what they're going to have to do to win this game today.
Scott Sudikoff, Liz Robert-Shaw, Megan Triplett with you in just picturesque Harrisonburg, Virginia, on the campus of James Madison University. Cannot ask for a better situation right now here on this late Friday afternoon. Blue skies overhead. A little bit of a threat of some thunderstorms that could pop up, and we'll hope for the best. It's graduation weekend here at James Madison, so there's a lot going on. I believe the baseball team is home today as well, taking on, I think, Towson in a 3-game series this weekend. The softball team here at James Madison going to host the CAA tournament next week. The baseball team will also be hosting their tournament in a couple of weeks. So Harrisonburg, Virginia is CAA Central for championship season here in May.
Their facility people are making their money.
It is our view here. We're on kind of top of the press box overlooking the field, and we can see this entire athletic complex, and it's just pretty. A lot of green, too, which is nice. James Madison, 6-3 lead. Elon has given them a very good fight here in the first half, but now the Phoenix in a situation. They're going to need to pick up a couple of defensive stops and try to get 1 or 2 back before JMU attempts to run away with this game. That skips by DeFada. Did not get a piece of it. Backed up, though, by the Dukes. McDaniel fighting through a double team. Trying to get the ground ball was Curran, and it comes into the crease. DeFada could not control it, though. James Madison regains it, and because Elon had possession momentarily, they got a fresh 90 on the clock.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate play right there for Elon, as they made a nice stop against Maddie McDaniel in the middle. But you got to finish up those ground balls. They're lucky, to be honest. That play right there typically results in a goal. So in many games, that would be a goal on your goaltender. So they're lucky it didn't result. They have another 70 seconds, so to play defense.
Lucchese. Now Haggerty getting to the top. Down on the goal line.
You can definitely see they address the slides. They are sending the early slides right here. They've done it on every single drive.
Brennan. Backed up by Haven for JMU. 37 on the clock. Haven looking to attack quickly and denied by Defada.
Great save right there. Nice composure. Didn't overplay it and just tracked the shot so well.
6 saves in the first half. Elon, obviously the clearing game, very huge. No matter who you're playing, but even more so today against James Madison, because you need to have your possessions, especially here now. Finally, after this run from James Madison for 4 goals in a row, Elon can set the pace to what they want to get here, and then hopefully finish off the possession with the tally.
Well, one thing I'm so impressed with Elon right now, you would never know this team is made up primarily of freshmen, sophomores. They are composed. They are making adjustments. They're right now on attack. They're not getting rattled or feeling like, oh my God, we have to score. He wants them looking for a great look, and I would anticipate that's what they're going to look for here.
Coming up on 7 minutes left to go in the first half. This is Kaylee Thompson. Freshman from Bel Air, Maryland, passing in the middle, knocked away. And from behind, Stanovich almost getting to it, but instead, Elon keeping possession, 15 on the clock. McGlynn rolls into a double team. 8 to shoot. Now down to 3, down to 2. And again, just have to throw it towards Dougherty. Makes the easy stop. So Elon uses all the possession. They do get a shot off, but certainly not what they were looking for at the end there.
So that's half of it. They had the composure and they kept the ball. The other half the coach Hexter is going to want, which unfortunately happens with youth, they didn't have that sense of urgency. The urgency to go to cage to make something happen. They were looking for someone else to make something happen. So they're going to need to kind of tweak that at halftime to come out with that guns blazing mentality that he talked about against William & Mary.
Emma Johnson clears it for the Dukes, second team All-CAA performer who has started every single game since her freshman season. Now a junior. James Madison coming in tops in the conference, 13.12 goals per game. A shooting percentage of up over 44%. And they have scored 6 goals on, I guess that's the 16th shot there.
Yeah, they got a piece of that. Nice double team. I thought they did a good job of not fouling on that situation. JMU is being a little bit more patient and setting things up, looking for those drives, anticipating the doubles, and if they can get the cut there, they'll feed it. If not, they definitely have players that are looking for shots.
Shelly Clays-Baucom in her 13th year as the JMU head coach. Winning the Coach of the Year award now for the 5th time as the JMU head coach in the CAA. Defada can't stop that one. And that is 5 in a row. And Logan Brennan with her second tally of the game for the Dukes.
Nice little crease roll right there. You know, pretty shifty. The defense was moving a ton. You'll see in this replay. Defense was moving a ton here. They're working on those cutters. All of those cutters inside. There was no slide. Logan Brennan took advantage. Little shot. Stick side right there for the keeper. Really tough. I know Paulina Defada is going to want that back. You can see it in her body language right now.
Mentioned Logan Brennan last year, worked as on the scout team, but basically she would be the opposing team's best player. So in the case of a Hofstra, she'd pretend to be Alyssa Perella. For Towson, she could play as Natalie Sulmante, and here for Elon could be Mae McGlynn or Kaylee Thompson. And what gave her confidence was going up against the defense of Caroline Stanovich and the rest of the defense, and going up against Molly Dougherty, her teammate, but the goalie, and being able to win those battles, what gave her confidence to step on the field this year and be like, well, I definitely belong because I've been able to score against my teammates who are some of the best defensively in the league and the country.
Yeah, I love that. I love that story. I love when kids get that opportunity, but again, it's work, and it is. You realize you can beat the best players on your own team. You all of a sudden have a lot of confidence to go beat anyone else in the conference.
7-3 James Madison as they have tallied 5 in a row. Elon had a lead of 2-1 and 3-2. And the Dukes have started to assert themselves basically midway through this first half. Elon led 3-2 until the Dukes tied it with 15:43 left to go. So Elon played exactly how they were hoping to the first 15 minutes, but James Madison has turned the corner for now. Stick with us at halftime. We'll go back to the LSN Broadcast Center as Defada went down a little bit early on that shot, but the bounce did come up and she got a piece of it, makes the stop. 8 saves for Defada here in the first half. Certainly knew coming into this game today she'd have to probably make double figures at the very least. Well, I don't think she's going to make triple figures, but you know what I mean. Get to at least 10 saves to beat a team like James Madison and keep her team in it. May McGlynn gets fouled there.
Yeah, JMU right there on transition. They've done a nice job of bumping up the pressure, see if they can cause a turnover early. They don't get it. They drop in their set. They get into their zone defense. But I like the way that JMU is putting some early pressure on them, just letting them know it's not going to be easy for you to get the ball in here.
Also at halftime, Mega Triplet will catch up with both of the head coaches on the field, get their thoughts on this first half of play. So no reason to go anywhere when this game goes to halftime. So drive there by Campbell Armstrong. Hard working move by Cammie Lynch. Scores her 17th of the season. And James Madison's lead is 3, 7-4 after this goal by the junior.
That's a nice drive right there by Cammie Lynch. JMU's defense looked a little out of sorts. They weren't as organized with some of the cutting that was happening. They didn't see that drive that was coming from down low, and therefore they didn't see a slide. So I just think that's something you can see right now players are talking about it, figuring out, okay, we need to make sure that elbow is covered, we need to make sure crease is covered, not to allow for easy goals.
So the junior from Red Bank, New Jersey, at a Red Bank Catholic with her 17th of the year. Had a couple of goals in the regular season matchup with James Madison here on April the 19th, which was a 16-8 win for the Dukes. Draw controls, 7-4 advantage for James Madison. Maddie McDaniel has won 3 of them on her own. A couple of wins for Shannon Horan getting to the ground ball for Elon. And this comes right in for Lynch. Not going to have a chance to go to goal, and probably even if she did, maybe would have pulled it out anyways.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him slow it down a little bit, get some touches. They just worked in some subs right here. So, again, they had a great possession this last time scoring a goal, but now let's get organized. Let's get the ball moving. Let's get back to our game plan.
One of the things Coach Exter told us is that he's running six midfielders, but 2 distinct lines, 3 and 3. He wants to keep the continuity between each unit.
Yeah, that's really important for the players learning how to play together. When it's early in the season, you try to mix it up. You see who works well together. You see what changes you can make. But then as your season goes on, by doing something like that, you can see players play well together and just gel.
A little bit of contact there with May McGlynn getting knocked down. And this is a conversation that we had kind of yesterday, you, me, and Megan, about, a lot of times that might be called a foul, but McGlynn was the one who seemingly initiated the contact, and the officials just let it go and let JMU get the ground ball instead.
Yeah, I actually really appreciate that no call. A lot of times attackers are going into defenders or they're taking up that space, and they are getting that call in the free position. And I think that was a nice job. They realized that Glynn's back was to the defense and that she really didn't have a play to make, so therefore it is a great no call. I don't know if Coach Hexter will agree with me,
Probably
but
not.
you know, from my seats, I'll take it.
Coming up to 1 minute left to go in half number one, semifinal number one. Curran with pretty aggressive defense there with the stick. This is Dougherty. We've had one yellow card early on. James Madison took advantage of it, got a free position tally by Hannah Haven. No room to operate there for Logan Brennan. DeFada almost had it. And then on the backside, the score for James Madison. That was good work by Brennan to keep fighting for the open spot and then find the feed to Katie Tchaikovsky, her 10th goal.
This was a great look. Logan Brennan, they had an isolation set up for her to go down that right-hand side, had everyone on the left, and then shifted him over. And obviously, anytime there's a double team on ball, someone's going to be left open on that backside. They found her with a very easy shot, kind of leaving Paulina DeFada out to dry right there. A tough save for her, but great ball movement by JMU, and really nice job setting up that isolation play.
So the goal for Tchaikovsky. Now Logan Brennan with a 3-point first half with 2 goals, and now the assist, which is her 13th of the year. Now 46 points on the season for Brennan. Tchaikovsky, sophomore from Fairfax, Virginia. He's a member of the all-rookie team a year ago in the CAA with 7 goals, 12 assists. And this year now with 10 and 16. 49 seconds left. And James Madison back up by 4. McDaniel, the self-draw win, although this time not already streaking towards the offensive end. So, you know, JMU probably would like to hold here and just make sure they get the final shot of the first half and potentially go in the locker room, or into the tent, I should say, with a 5-goal lead. Kelsey Reed to Lucchese. Nice roll. Slide comes, though, in time, but then you get the whistle.
So a 3 seconds violation right there. It was interesting. I was wondering if they're going to pull it out or go for the shot. So I think this is a great opportunity for them to free position shot.
So it'll be Tchaikovsky just scored for James Madison. She's only taken 1 free position shot this year, 0 for 1. And the Elon defense able to converge on her. Just a few seconds left to go in the first half. Final shot opportunity, down to 2, down to 1. And Elon's defense will hold as the horn sounds. Elon had a lead a couple of times, 2-1, 3-2, but James Madison comes on strong in the final 15 minutes, and it's JMU 8, Elon 4 after the first half of play. And now let's go back to the LSN Broadcast Center. All right, before the second half begins, let's check in with Megan and Shelly Clays Bacco.
8-4 in the first half. What did you like in that first half?
Well, I think, it's just the reality. We haven't played a game in a week and a half. So I think that the first, half of that half was just us getting our feet underneath of us. I think their goalie's playing really well. And we knew that coming into the game. So we had to do a better job of not just getting our hands free, also faking and moving the goalie. Just our spacing, I think, can be a little bit better on the attacking end. But we're going to work through that. I think defensively, we just got to be able to manage those 1v1s up top, but I like what I'm seeing on the defensive end, and I like what I see with the draw control and ground ball battle right now.
How do you get Hannah Haven more touches?
Well, I think that, she's got to work to get the ball, one, and, her teammates can help her out a little bit more, set some picks for her, and we're going to talk about that at halftime. But, for us, not being intimidated by that. Obviously, plenty of people on this team can score. There's a lot of ways that you can take advantage and exploit a face guard. So looking forward to seeing us take advantage of that.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you so much, Megan. And Liz, get to hear from both coaches. First, your thoughts on what Shelly Clays Bacco had to say about her team.
I think she's pretty spot on right now. I mean, Paulina DeFada has made them work for these goals, and she needs her team to play better and better. She's got to have Hannah Haven step up a little bit more. They need more touches on there. I definitely agree with her. And their defense is playing well. They're making some nice adjustments, some nice turnovers. And I think they had a good talk, and you're going to see them come out a little bit harder this second half.
And Josh Hexter with Elon was overall pleased with the way his team performed. 13 seconds here into the second half. James Madison puts another one on the board, and now they have a 5-goal lead, 9-4.
Well, Coach Hexter did say that this was a problem right now defensively. They're making it a little bit too easy for JMU to split the seams and to find the openings, and you saw it right there with Maddie McDaniel. So that's not going to have Coach Hexter or their assistant coach Roberts too happy right there. But at the same time, he's been so happy with the resiliency as well as the grit and the fight and the scrappiness of his players. They've got to focus on that. They have to focus on the little elements of this game, ignore the scoreboard, and get back to doing what they did in the first half to get back in this game.
Third goal for McDaniel on 4 shots today, and she has 5 draw control wins.
I think that's impressive when you can have another leader, a junior captain, step up when some of your seniors maybe aren't scoring as much. That's going to help you down the stretch.
James Madison has won 9 of 14 draws, out shooting Elon 20-10. And another win for McDaniel. And I feel like as this game goes on, she might get better because she'll be in a groove, and it'll be tough for Elon to stop the Dukes at that point. Reference Paulina DeFata, 8 saves in the first half, 3 on the other side for Molly Dougherty.
I'd like to see JMU stay aggressive right here. And you're going to see it. Yep, right there. You're going to see them go to cage harder. They're not going to allow Elon to slow the pace of this game, which they did in the first half, which really tripped up JMU.
So the aggressive take, and James Madison with 2 goals within the first minute here of the second half. And now up 10-4, and kind of a very quick timeout called by Elon here. Less than a minute into the second half. It is 10-4 JMU on top, and let's check back in with the LSN Broadcast Center.
Hey everybody, Tom Eshin in the LSN studios here. The CAA revealing their end of the season award winners this week, several of which are watching in the CAA tournament today. Alyssa Perella, one of those, the CAA Player of the Year. More on what she's done in just a moment, because she's done a lot. JMU taking home a couple of awards on the defensive side. Caroline Stanowich, the Defensive Player of the Year, and Molly Dougherty, Goalkeeper of the Year. That JMU defense, 14th in the country. Elon's Kaylie Thompson is the CAA Rookie of the Year, the second Phoenix player to win that award. And JMU had a perfect CAA season. Shelley Claes-Bockham honored as such as Coach of the Year. As for Perella, she's broken Hofstra records for single season and career points and goals as just a junior, but also broke the CAA single season goals record, totaling 82, the prior record 81. She's the 3rd player in CAA history to reach 100 points and is 13 points shy of setting the single season points record going into this weekend. Check out our on-demand section to see the full CAA teams and selections, but now let's get you back out to Harrisonburg.
All right, thank you, Tom. Before the break there, goal scored by Kelsey Reed for the Dukes, her 18th of the season. And James Madison has scored 2 goals in the first 47 seconds of the second half and now have a 10-4 lead. And you got to think potentially JMU during halftime, obviously they had a 4-goal lead, did not play the best first 15 minutes or so of that first half, and maybe coming out here for the second half to send a message to everyone else in the league that, okay, we're going to put our foot fully on the gas pedal here and try to make sure that they secure this one early here in the second half.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Coach Claes-Bockham went in there and said, remember what, we have to get back to doing the work. We haven't done anything yet. All the rest of the early games are done. If you want to move on to a championship game, if you want to win a three-peat, you've got to do the work now. And they are coming out 3 straight draw controls from Maddie McDaniel. They're going down on offense. They're looking sharp, and I would anticipate they're going to keep this pace moving.
JMU trying to capture 3 consecutive CAA championships. It would be just the 2nd program in conference history to do so. Towson, the only other team in the CAA that has done so. Towson and Hofstra coming up next in semifinal number 2. It's a pretty nifty dodge there by Haggerty. Didn't have a shot though. Now Reed. Back for Haggerty. And now here's McDaniel working on a 3-goal game. She's had 4 goal games in her career, and this time it is Haggerty who scores and tosses the stick down with authority. And it's 11-4 James Madison.
I mean, they're feeling it. This is a textbook 2-man game. You can see Maddie McDaniel comes over, pick and roll, shows inside, and just picks off that secondary Elon defender. Gives an open look right there. I love this 2-man game.
So James Madison, 3 goals and 3 possessions in less than 2 minutes in the second half. Elon has not sniffed the ball yet on the offensive side. And a 7-goal deficit now for the Phoenix.
Elon's got to find a way to get this ball on the ground in the draw control. They can't continue to allow Maddie McDaniel to get it high and control it herself. We've got to put it long, they've got to put it long, and they've got to get that ball into a 50-50 opportunity if they want to get back in this possession game.
I didn't know you were an Elon grad.
You know, I was a CAA, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable back here in the CAA, but didn't quite wear that garnet and gold.
Of course, Elon is only in their 6th year overall as a program in general, 5th year in the CAA, and what's impressive about that, 4th time in the CAA tournament. So as a program with Josh Hexter, they have been able to be a team to reckon with, and of course just a couple of years ago did make it to the NCAA tournament.
He's done a tremendous job with this program, from recruiting to coaching, his philosophy. It's a nice balance of being relaxed. Every player that we asked, what's it like playing for Josh and Beth and now Katrina Geiger, who's on staff, they said it's fun, it's loose, it's relaxed, and they want to play well. And you can see it in the way that they're getting to championship weekend and the way they're playing.
Haggerty. Now Brennan coming out from behind the goal. Here's McDaniel. Getting to the middle, switching to her left, and scores her 4th of the game. Her 4th career 4-goal game. Maddie McDaniel a little hobbled after that tumble to the turf.
It's a long way down.
Hopefully, I wouldn't know. Hopefully she's okay. See there, just kind of a little misstep.
Yeah, nice little isolation dodge they had going on right here. They really drew all the defenders away. They are elongating the slides. They are not making it easy for Elon to send that double team. If they are, they're making them pay for it. But in that, I mean, they had Maddie McDaniel on an island, really challenging to get that slide and get that double.
So we just saw Maddie McDaniel. She goes to the sideline. She switches sticks. What's the difference between the 2 sticks?
So in the game today with draws, there's a lot of different draw sticks. It has to do with stringing. Some players like a firmer stick head, some like a softer, but a lot of times it does have to do with the different stringing and what allows a draw taker, a draw specialist to feel the ball in her stick. A great draw player can tell her teammates around the circle where she anticipates it going. You've seen that in great players in the past like Taylor Cummings, who plays on the U.S. national team, currently Sam Apuzzo. Maddie McDaniel's been fantastic at it as well. So nothing illegal, but it absolutely is an advantage.
She almost had her 9th draw control win. Now, I think, this is just me, I don't know what your opinion on this is. Should the draw control victory just go to the specialist in the middle that does it? Kind of like on the men's side, you win a face-off and you win it as the guy taking it.
Yeah, I go back and forth, but then I think there's just something so great about those players on the outside who scrap and who fight in getting that draw control stat. I mean, it's tough because obviously there's so much work done by the person who takes the draw control, but I do think the work that I've seen from players across the country on the circle, I think it'd be tough to take that stat away from them.
It would also mess up the record books.
That's true. That's true. It made it a little tough.
I mean, imagine
asterisks everywhere.
Imagine, Sam Apuzzo with her numbers, how many more she would have. So Elon has not yet had the ball on offense here in the second half. James Madison has scored 4 goals in 4 possessions.
Have an off-ball push right there from JMU. You know, it's tough. They're trying to do so much movement, but every now and then when they're setting those 2-man picks on the inside, trying to find someone open for those cuts with the balls behind at X for a feed inside, and sometimes you get tagged with those fouls.
So now Elon will hope to get set up in the offensive end here. Outrunning everybody is Palmer Voorhees, and then a stick catches her up high, and we'll have the first yellow card issued to James Madison today. It'll be Hannah Haven that will trot off for a couple of minutes.
I really applaud Hannah's fight to get the ball back in the ride. However, that last second swing, it's dangerous. That's why she got called for that slash. It doesn't have to make contact. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. A slash does not have to make contact with the player for it to be dangerous or for it to warrant a yellow card. So I think that's a great call. It's one of those things I have a feeling Coach Kaylee Thompson is going to say, hey, I love your ride. I love your passion. I love your fight. Don't swing.
It's just it's a dangerous play. It may not have made contact, but it could have.
Yes.
And that's, you have to assert the rule there to stop players from trying to attempt it.
We'd like to stay out of helmets in the women's game, so we need to make sure we limit plays like that.
There's Mae McGlynn backing it out. 2 goals in the first half for the Phoenix. Elon works with the player up advantage now, with Haven out for 2 minutes. Cami Lidge scored a goal in the first half, forced back outside by Kelsey Reed. Mentioned this JMU defense, 14th in the country in goals allowed, just 9.1 per game, and their goalie Molly Dougherty, 10th in the country in goals against, and 4th in save percentage at 52.3%, 2019 CAA Goalie of the Year.
So you're seeing Elon here work a double wheel where they just have 2 concentric circles working in the middle looking for a feed. That's a shot they're going to want to take. Molly Dougherty, though, saw it the entire way and really ate that up.
4th save for Dougherty, with a little bit of time left on the penalty to Haven. Across midfield, Natalie Fusillo, senior from Eastport, New York. Gets it on ahead to Logan Brennan, who scored 2 goals in the first half for the Dukes. 5 straight overall goals by JMU, 4 to begin this second half. McDaniel, Reed, Haggerty, and McDaniel again. Maddie McDaniel has 4 goals scored for the Dukes to go along with 8 draw controls. Impressive stat here for James Madison. She has only turned it, they have only turned it over 3 times today.
So right now you're going to see a player from JMU come in. They're actually playing 2-man down. Well, maybe she's not coming back in, but right now they're playing 2-men down, which I only thought there was 1 card. So I think right now the coaching staff is figuring out who they want on the field. But Elon has not been taking advantage of it. Elon sat home and pretty much allowed them to kill this clock.
Is it that JMU just didn't have the personnel out there, and so they weren't officially 2 players down, but they were kind of just working without it?
Little miscommunication on the staff. It might have been they were doing a subbing change with their midfield line, or just little miscommunication right there. But they got it figured out. That penalty's just about done with Hannah Haven. Nice shot by Maddie McDaniel.
I hit the pipe. She's looking for her career-high 5th goal. And now with the ball down, it comes out to Haggerty. And now we are even strength now. One of the things I thought that was interesting that Shelley Claes-Bockham told us yesterday, it's a team that won the national championship obviously last year. It's won 2 prior conference tournament championships, but she kind of said within the CAA you have to reestablish yourself every year, and reestablishing herself in front of the goal there, Daria Lucchese scores her 2nd here today, and James Madison leading by 9 now, 13-4. Look at the replay here first, and then I want to get your thoughts on what she said about having to reestablish herself in the CAA every year.
Again, nice look from behind. JMU is doing a fantastic job cutting. They're cutting sharply. They're cutting with pace. Stick is up, ready to go. They're exposing this open elbow right here. Lefty up. Gets Stefada moving, and then just puts it behind her.
So yeah, obviously the CAA lacrosse, it's a formidable conference, and Towson has been at the top for a while. Now James Madison is at the top. Hofstra is back to the tournament for the first time in 4 years, and so basically reestablishing every single year in the CAA. All right, we'll hold your thoughts on that once again, because Tom Eschen back in the LSN studio has some more, although we think we have a timeout on the field, but now it looks to be a stick check. So I think we'll hang here. And now, okay, so Liz,
I'm here.
Your thoughts on the idea of each year having to reestablish yourself within the conference?
I do. I think it's one of those things that Coach Claes Bachman made a comment about saying, we don't do the same thing year in and year out because we're not the same team year in and year out. So every year you come in, they as the staff take the time to figure out, all right, we know we want to win a conference championship. We know we want to get back to the national tournament. That's a staple. How do we do it? How do we find a new identity? How do we create more buzz? How do we keep things from getting stale? Which anyone that's ever worked with the college kids know that something can get stale, and you can have those games that you're flat, and they want to avoid that. So they've spent a ton of time in the offseason making sure that they figure out their culture, that they establish who they want to be on the field, and then they can put that product out there come springtime. Sometimes it happens early on, which you saw last year with JMU in that run to the national championship. Other times it takes a little longer, and that's what it's done this year. But you can see they're playing their best lacrosse. She said they're more polished, they're more aggressive, they're making better decisions, and it's one of those situations that they're playing where they want to be playing.
So they were checking Maddie McDaniel's, what would you call it? Draw specialist stick.
Yeah,
draw stick.
It's a draw stick. Yeah, they're checking it. It's a typical tactic for a coach. You know, you can see Coach Hexter right now talking to an official. There are distinct guidelines as to what can and cannot be done in a draw stick, from your shooting strings to what you use. It has been constantly changing. To this year, they've really loosened up the regulations. And it's a situation, sometimes there's going to be a difference in opinion. What I think looks legal or looks illegal may not be the case. I have a feeling that may be going on right now. But at the end of the day, the officials have a sheet where they cross-check about 15 different points on the stick, including the length, including the diameter of the stick head, including the stringing, every little detail right there. And as you can see, Maddie McDaniel passed with flying colors.
Josh Hexter still talking on the sideline with one of our officials, so that's why we're not restarting play just yet. Conversation now wrapping up. There's Josh Hexter. Took over the reins of the program in April 2012, which was, well, a lot of lead time before actually playing any games.
I think that's something you see too with these programs. I mean, we have a new program in Pitt coming out in the ACC. You're just seeing coaches are given time to recruit. 1 year, 2 year, they need that time to get a team and put them on the field.
Yeah, taking over April 2012, and then Elon did not play until 2014. So almost 2 full years of preparing the program. I don't know for sure, but I would guess that maybe a little extra contact, knocking down Quinn Daly. We're going to have a card on Caroline Stanovich. And we'll go off here for a couple of minutes. Again, look at what happened here.
I don't think it was necessarily meant to be a tough foul. I'm not going to speak for the kid, but in looking, the whistle was called. You're actually stopping someone from running into you, but again, she's got to be a little smarter, get that stick down. You have to be wiser in front of these officials. You can't have a stick up by the shoulders, the chest, the head. It's going to get called for a yellow card every time.
23 minutes left to go here in the second half. James Madison has scored all 5 goals and have a 13-4 lead. Looking to move on to take on the winner of Towson and Hofstra. Coming up next in our second semifinal, here's Kaylee Thompson. Got the call on James Madison. Will give Thompson a free position, where she has scored 7 times this year in 18 shots. Rookie of the year in the CAA. Played also basketball and soccer at high school, and that was a right leg save by Dougherty, maybe right foot, kicking it away. Elon does recover the loose ball, though.
And Maddie got a great jump right there, getting in there, getting a stick on that shot, not allowing a clean left-handed shot on her goaltender.
Yeah, and I guess it did not get through to Dougherty. Actually, she made the motion of trying to kick it away, but possession clock not reset, so obviously deemed not on goal. Get my eyes checked after the game. Moran. Remember, Elon had the advantage here, player up, and toss it away. Getting the interception there was Emma Johnson, and laying it off for her keeper, Dougherty.
That was a great job of staying aggressive and not allowing Elon to pick them apart while they were man up. And anytime you can force a young team like Elon to move the ball in the air, move it quickly, you can force some turnovers. Unfortunately, they just did the same right back to him, which also happens.
Moran picks it up. Rand's teammates, Kaylee Thompson, Mae McGlynn, really spoke highly of her as the ball goes back and forth. But speaking of Horan, just saying, nothing but a leader for this team, and really the one who is on the field talking and leading this program, senior from Mendham, New Jersey. And you heard, we spoke to Mae McGlynn and Kaylee Thompson really one-on-one, sophomore and freshman, and you can really tell that there is kind of a I don't want to say motto, but just a culture of the program that has already started to been passed down to those players, the younger players.
And that's so important when you're trying to, again, reestablish your program with the youth that you have. They don't know the work ethic. They don't necessarily have the game experience. They haven't been in moments like this. So you have to do a good job as your upperclassmen leaders of dictating what needs to happen.
There's Hannah Haven into traffic. We'll draw the call. That looked like a play for Hannah Haven where she said, I'm getting the goal any way possible if I can.
Yeah, I think obviously called for a charge right there. She thought it was a foul against them.
I did too.
I think defense actually did a nice job of sitting down, not checking, and drawing that charge.
So get a look at it here. Yeah. Not sure I saw it, to be honest. Not sure I saw a foul either way, to be perfectly honest.
One of the things the officials are also looking for in plays like that, are you under control as an attacker as you're going into the 8? I think the case could be made either way, for a push or just for a little bit of kind of out of control there. That's a great no call. Great defense right there by JMU.
McGlynn surveying things, giving it to Thompson. Pass was a little bit high there, then with the back check, knocking it away. Emma Johnson causing the turnover. And then also the ground ball. Here comes Haggerty. And the favor returned. That was Palmer Voorhees. Makes the play for Elon on the other side.
The teams are definitely playing harder. They're bringing that aggressiveness. We're also at that time period in the game where things can tend to get a little sloppy. You're a little bit more tired. I mean, it's 80 degrees out here, sun, there's no shade cover. And so I think these players, you're starting to see some mistakes as they get a little bit more fatigued. However, you see Hannah Haven working her tail off right there in the ride.
I thought they were going to call Haven there for a little misconduct. She kind of waved away the official's call, but it was, it was pretty innocuous. It wasn't too bad. You could tell that she, meeting with her, she was, very nice, outgoing. But then you can just tell in her eyes, in her demeanor, that when she's on the field, the type of player you don't want to mess with too much.
She's a passionate player. I mean, those are the kids you love to have on your team. You want someone that can pump your team up. You want someone that can show emotion, especially if you're Coach Kaylee Thompson. That's the kind of kid she's going to recruit. There are moments that you're going to have to rein it in a little bit to make sure we don't get those yellow cards. But I think that's a situation I think Kaylee Thompson will take her any day of the week on her team.
I think JMU is a perfect example of a team that takes on the personality of their head coach, or she just does an amazing job of recruiting people and players that are very much just like her. Shelly Claes-Baucom, one of the more outgoing coaches, tell you like it is, makes for a great interview. Now we see Mae McGlynn slow to get back up on her feet. Sophomore has scored 2 goals today, now 42 on the year for Elon. See if we can catch what happened to McGlynn. And honestly may have been in that first initial move she made where she kind of slid and then she kept going, and then when she got knocked down to the turf, favoring her leg, but see a slight hitch, but hopefully everything okay for the sophomore from Skinny Atlas, New York. Does lead to a free position here for Elon. And it got deflected, does not get through.
That's an excellent double team right there. Caroline Sanovich came down. Awesome double team with Kristen Russell, the player we were talking about earlier, who got the starting call today. That's going to boost a lot of confidence for that kid, getting that start and now getting cause turnover and getting that charge. I can see why she's happy with the way her defense is playing.
That's Stanowich, the type of plays that she makes defensively right there, to a T, just always able to find her way on those free positions to cause a play like that. And then eventually James Madison getting possession of the ball.
And we asked Molly Dougherty yesterday what was her favorite part about playing with this defense. She said, I trust them. And when they make plays like that, I can absolutely see why she trusts them every time.
James Madison outscoring Elon 5-0 here in the second half. And once again, Hannah Haven not afraid to take the ball into some traffic, absorb some contact. And it's one of the mottos of James Madison that comes from Shelley Clays-Baucom. Take a hit and smile about it.
Love it. Love it. I think you're going to see her take an early rip on this shot. I was watching her practice some earlier today, and she takes one to two steps and just fires it.
Looking for her second goal of the game, and she has it. Second of the day, 38th of the season. And James Madison builds his lead to double figures for the first time today, 14-4.
Confident, head up, just a hard rip on that shot. She's wanted that goal this whole game.
And James Madison going to use a timeout here with exactly 17 minutes left, taking a 14-4 lead. All right, now for the final time here in this broadcast, we will now check in again with Tom Eschen back at the LSN Broadcast Center.
Tom Eschen here in the LSN studios. We've been telling you who to keep an eye on all year in our Player of the Year watch. Well, now time to reveal the finalists on the women's side. They are Sam Apuzzo, Alyssa Perella, and Charlotte North. Apuzzo, the defending Tuaraton Award winner. Perella leads the nation in goals, and North fifth in the country in both points and goals per game. She was at the top of that list for a long time this season. Apuzzo had hat tricks against Syracuse and North Carolina last weekend in the ACC tournament. Now more than 100 points this season, sitting at 104. That leads the nation. As just a junior, Perella's broken several single-season and career records at Hofstra and the CAA. She had 4 goals and 3 assists in their win over Drexel last weekend. And North scored 4 goals in Duke's huge ACC tournament upset over Notre Dame last weekend. She had 74 goals this season. Sam Apuzzo, Alyssa Perella, and Charlotte North are Player of the Year finalists. But for now, let's head back out to the game.
All right, thank you, Tom. Hannah Haven scoring her 38th goal of the season moments ago on a free position. Her second of the day. And it's been all James Madison. Remember, Elon led 2-1, 3-2. With 15:43 to go the first half, Lizzie Fox tied it for James Madison. And since that point, Elon has only scored once late in the first half. And the Dukes with a 10-goal advantage, 14-4. With exactly 17 minutes left to play. Scott Sudikoff, Liz Robertshaw with you up here in the broadcast position. Megan Triplett down on the sidelines for us. And going to try to check in with Megan in just a couple of moments. We did see a few minutes ago May McGlynn come off the field a little bit hobbled. And Megan efforting to get an update on the status of McGlynn. Looking out on the field right now, trying to see if she's out there right now. Don't see her. Hopefully it's nothing too serious on the sideline for the very talented sophomore. So Elon's offense working without her right now.
And that's a big blow right here to the Elon team, but they're going to need some players to step up. Kaylee Thompson's got to step up and take some of these dodging chances that Coach Hexter talked about.
Delayed call, and now we'll get it. Elon has 55 seconds on the clock, and kind of looking across the field, do see May McGlynn sitting on the bench on the Elon sideline. Elon will back it out. This pass gets knocked down to the ground, but Elon gets it back. And now, there's that JMU defense. All right, quickly, let's go down to Megan Triplett. She has an update on the injury of May McGlynn.
Hey guys, we saw May McGlynn go down just a few moments ago, and it looks like she's massaging the top and the back of her knee. She tried to get up, but she was limping, so they decided to ice it. So we're not quite sure if she's going to go back in the game, but she looks like she's in excruciating pain. Back to you guys. All
right, thank you very much, Megan. Yeah, we see her again sitting just on the sideline and being tended to. And hopefully, obviously if you're Elon, you want to get her back in this game, but you also think towards the future, and hopefully it's nothing that's going to be a lingering issue moving forward. It looked fairly, you didn't notice anything too bad about it, but that's never kind of indicative of what an injury might be. And Brennan,
nice save
right by Defato, who made 8 saves in the first half. That's her first save here of the second half, so 9 total for the redshirt sophomore goalie.
And sometimes an injury can really inspire your team. So not that you ever wish an injury on anyone, but when those things happen, everyone realizes, I got to step up. When our leading scorer goes down, I've got to step up and take that. So I would like to see that out of one of these Elon players of saying, who's next? Who's going to put some points on the board, stop this running clock, and get us back into a tighter game?
Elon's last goal came with 2:41 left in the first half. And at that point, it made it 7-4 James Madison. Curran. Now this is Jillian Curran. Comes from a Lacrosse family for sure. Brother Jack, a standout at Villanova. Brother Charlie, currently playing at Fairfield. And sister Bridget, played at the University of North Carolina.
His families must put a lot of miles in that car.
Yeah, everybody's spread out, different schools. Well, I guess a couple in North Carolina, and then Philadelphia to Fairfield, Connecticut is not a terrible commute. Losing it, or shooting it, excuse me, and now racing after it is Kate Mackel, freshman from Simi Valley, California, an Under Armour All-American. Looks like she's the player that has kind of come out there in the spot of May McGlynn on this offense. Curran.
JMU's defense is just smothering every cut, every dodging look they have. You can see the confidence they're playing with right now. Sticks up.
Ooh, trying a backhand, no look shot was Mackel. Possession retained by Elon. Now James Madison's defense just seems to be locked in. Earlier saw it was Lizzie Fox who did a great job staying with Curran. This will be a free position.
10-angle shooting space. I don't think this is going to be the best angle for a shot. Right there, they moved her in one, which actually gives it a nice, for a righty, not a bad shot opportunity. I'd like RC to be aggressive and go to cage on this. They need to get some shots on net.
Shot high, but there on the backside is Grace Simpson, senior from South Hadley, Massachusetts. And the bounce shot is put home. And Kaylee Thompson with her second of the game, and now 33 on the year for the freshman.
Nice dodge to get to her strong hand, takes a hard bounce. Obviously, that's a shot she's been looking to take all day against Molly Dougherty. And again, that's a shot they need. Elon needs to keep shooting, keep getting on the board. Regardless of what the scoreboard says right now, in order to set themselves up for next year, they have to find confidence in scoring against a team like JMU. They got to do it now in order to set themselves up next year for feeling like they can. They can come into championship weekend and not just compete, but win it.
So Thompson gets the game back down to a 9-goal difference. Josh Hexter talking about Thompson yesterday, just basically saying, I mean, she's a freshman, so this is not totally surprising, but not reaching her potential yet, which is, in theory, a good thing because she scored 31 goals, now 33 in her freshman season, CAA Rookie of the Year. You'd actually want her not to be at her potential yet. You hope there's a big a ceiling above her. And really, when in talking to her, you had asked her sort of, okay, you've won the Rookie of the Year. You know, you've scored 30-plus goals. But there's got to be more that you want to do. And she just flat out said, well, yeah, I want to be the player of the year, and I want to win a championship, and I want to do this, I want to do that, you know, and all the goals, which I know it sounds obvious things to say, but, you know, just for her just to put them out there into the universe and say them, shows that she's got pretty good confidence in herself.
Agreed. I think that's something that you need to see. If you're going to be a player of the year, you have to have that, one, confidence, and two, that drive. Everything Coach Hexter has said is that she has both, and so we'll see if she can get there.
That turnover caused by Curran. And now Elon moving in transition, looking for a second straight goal potentially. Here's Shannon Horan. And now Camby Lynch. Again, Elon working without Mae McGlynn, who is sitting on the bench for the Phoenix across the way from us. When Megan reported just something around the knee. Don't know, obviously, exactly the issue. Kate Mackel passes out from behind the goal. Here's Thompson. Thompson forced wide of the goal there by Stanovich. That's pretty fun to see. You got the Rookie of the Year, strong offensive player, and then the Defensive Player of the Year, senior in Stanovich. Kind of the look of present versus future. Lynch. Duvall all over her. James Madison's defense not letting up, even though they've got a 9-goal lead coming up on 10 minutes left. And Stanovich knocked it away. Knocked it away twice, it almost looked like. 3 seconds to shoot. Thompson had a bit of a lane, and then she slips down and got a shot off somehow. She somehow got a shot. If she scored on that play, Kaylee Thompson, you may have found her again as the #1 play on the SportsCenter Top 10.
She did say that was another one of her goals. She wanted to get
wants
back on SportsCenter
one.
Top 10, having done it earlier this year. Thought it was pretty cool, and said she definitely wanted to do that again.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. She said, it was pretty cool. It's like, yeah, I suppose it is.
That was so impressive by Caroline Stanovich. I mean, she is relentless. She is all over the place. She's not going to let you breathe. And right now she's marking up on Kaylee Thompson behind the line, just kind of being like, you may be the Rookie of the Year, but I'm the Defender of the Year, and I'm here, kid.
Yeah, she could be giving her a few tips because I guess, you know, they're not gonna match up again unless maybe in the future, maybe at the professional ranks or international level. Although I guess they would probably be on the same team internationally, but you know, in practice maybe.
In practice. That was a nice drive and a great save again down there by Elon. Paulina's really doing everything she can to keep this game close.
Double-figure saves now for Paulina DeFada with exactly 10. Averaged 9.4 per game, which is second most in the conference. And again, you loved the answer when you asked her just flat out, love or hate 8 meters against you, and just love them.
I thought it was great.
Are there goalies that say that they hate them though?
Yes.
Yeah?
There are goalies that hate it. They don't want. They like chaos. They like movement. But she's like, nope, me and the shooter, that's all I need.
Right there in front. A score for Rachel Mady. Freshman scores her 14th goal of the year. We absolutely love the story that we heard from her teammates about Rachel Mady, that the word they use, that she's external, and that potentially while in the midst of this play, she's talking out loud to herself. Especially if she makes a mistake, she'll yell out loud to herself. Probably pretty happy with how that finished, though.
Absolutely, that's been a big thing of the personality of this team that both the coaches as well as the players all talked about. Is they want to express personality. They want everyone to be themselves, to be comfortable. If you're a loud player, if you like to get rowdy in the locker room, they want you to be able to do that. Rachel Mady absolutely is that player, and they said they know when they need to correct her as a young player and when they don't. Because after a play, if she messes up, she's constantly talking to herself. I did that. And she's making all these noises. All the players were making fun of it in the interview yesterday. But again, once they hear those things, they know they don't have to harp on her, that she's doing
Right.
it for herself, and they can back off as teammates. And that's really powerful to know your teammates so well so that you don't overload someone.
Yeah, the coaching staff knows that they don't have to be like, hey, Rachel, you made a mistake. Oh, no, she knows.
Yeah.
We know that she knows what she did. So she scores there, her 14th of the season, makes it 15-5 James Madison, less than 7 minutes to play in the second half as the Dukes well on the way to a 6th straight appearance in the championship game. They've won 3 of the prior 5 times where they've got to the championship round. The only team that the team that's been able to beat them those 2 other times was Towson, 2014 and 2016. Of course, we could see that matchup again on Sunday. Hofstra, Alyssa Perella and company to the CAA tournament for the first time. The entire team for Hofstra tomorrow has not played in a CAA tournament game, or today. They'll play in a CAA tournament game. And so it's going to be interesting, the dynamic to see Hofstra versus Towson with the chance to play James Madison on Sunday.
I think it's going to be an excellent game coming up later tonight on LSN. I mean, you have 2 teams that are ready to battle it out, and both of them would love another shot at JMU.
Curran. Just no room to breathe,
No.
it appears, out there for Elon on offense. Shot clock is down to 10.
One of the things JMU is doing so well is on every drive they're sending that double team, and the person on ball is doing a fantastic job of slowing the ball to get a back check in order to do fast breaks like this with Maddie McDaniel coming down in a 4v3.
McDaniel maybe looking for a 5th goal, which would be a career high. Logan Brennan did not secure that at her cross before that shot. Palmer Voorhees picking up the ground ball.
Logan Brennan's going to want that play back.
Voorhees, older sister Lane, played at Denver. Of course, Denver will play for the Big East Championship tomorrow against Georgetown in not only women's lacrosse, but actually in men's lacrosse as well. Now that'll be both of those games tomorrow. Saw in the Ivy League earlier today, semifinal game, Penn with a 1-goal victory over Dartmouth. So sets up what most likely will be Penn versus Princeton for the Ivy League Championship, which is always a good matchup. That'll be on Sunday. Today's Friday. That'll be Sunday. Of course, we'll be here Sunday for the CAA Championship game, so we're biased, but tune in to us. Keep an eye on that one as well. So the championship game, noon on Sunday. Coverage beginning at 11:30 a.m. with the pregame show. And then we'll be right back here with you at Centera Park. Of course, don't forget tomorrow, as Elon working here on offense, coming down to 4 minutes left. Now the CAA Men's Championship game on the way tomorrow. Drexel with that upset of UMass, and they're going to take on Towson and look for back-to-back upsets. And really, Drexel would be stealing a bid on the men's side if they win that game tomorrow against Towson. That game coverage, as you saw, beginning at 12:30, face-off 1 p.m. tomorrow. CAA Men's Championship game right here on Lax Sports Network.
That last possession, you're just seeing some of Elon's youth and inexperience in big-time games like this. They're moving the ball really well, they're possessing it, but they're not having that player that's saying, give it to me, I'm going to put you on my shoulders, and we're going to go to cage. Obviously, JMU has players like that. You've seen it in Logan Brennan, you've seen it in Maddie McDaniel. When Hannah Haven has been locked up, that's going to be something that in the offseason, Coach Hexter is going to be looking to work on. Who's going to be that big-time player? Who's going to say, it doesn't matter what kind of defense we're seeing, we need to go to cage and get some shots off.
3 minutes left to go, and James Madison able to work some reserves in there. Shannon Quinlan, a redshirt senior, out there at number 5 in white. This is Lizzie Fox. Now that shot wide.
Has a pretty little slip cut to just fed it inside. Great handle inside by Lizzie Fox with that shot.
Shot clock below 10. And the ball will roll out of bounds. It was not a shot. It'll be Elon ball. The shot clock was winding down anyways. So the Phoenix have it. Come coming up on 2 minutes to play. So James Madison on their home field. After some early pressure by Elon, Phoenix had a 2-1 lead, a 3-2 lead. They were hanging around. It was 7-4 James Madison, 8-4 at halftime, and we saw it within the first minute or two of the second half. James Madison came out and just ripped away control and have not given it back at all at any point here to Elon. And in the end, gonna coast to a victory into the championship again.
Absolutely. I mean, they turned the page into the second half. They've done what I think their coaches wanted to see them do in the second half, and I think it's setting them up well for tomorrow. If they had played the whole game the way they did the first half, I don't know if they'd feel as confident going into tomorrow's game.
Save made by Dougherty on the shot by Campbell Armstrong with 1:25 left. Lizzie Fox, That is number 19, Lily Byrne, a freshman from McLean, Virginia. Getting out there right now for James Madison. So a good opportunity for Shelly Claes-Bacum to get some of the reserve players out there and some extra time on the field here at the end of this one. Final minute of play here in semifinal number 1. James Madison could hold the ball for the duration of the game here. The shot clock not in play. Shannon Quinlan. Maddie McDaniel going to end up leading the way for James Madison with 4 goals. Also 9 draw controls. Hannah Haven and Logan Brennan, each with 2 goals and an assist. Same for Daria Lucchesi. And there's another tally for James Madison. That is Shannon Quinlan, a redshirt senior who missed all but 1 game last year due to injury, playing in her 10th game back and scores her 6th goal.
And for those of you guys that were watching at home, you might have been a little tricked to yourself in thinking that you were seeing the wrong amount of players. You were. JMU was actually playing a person down in that set, so there wasn't not an offsides. There's been no card. I think maybe a miscommunication with some of the subbing that was going in there. JMU was playing with 6 attackers against Elon's 7, but credit to Shannon Quinlan, did a fantastic job of driving straight down and putting the nail in the coffin.
Yep, and that does it. The clock runs out, and James Madison with a 16-5 victory to move on once again to the CAA championship game, where they will play for the championship for the 6th consecutive year, and in search of another CAA championship game. So James Madison does their thing here today, but Elon showing some signs that in the future, if everybody comes together, the young players, that they could be still in the top 4, maybe a top 2 team down the line.
They should be proud of their performance, of how they handled the day. Obviously, they're not going to be excited about that scoreboard, but they fought. They started off really strong, which a good young team will do, and that's what they wanted to see from Coach Hexter. So I think they're going to be happy about that, but credit to JMU. Their defense was rock solid. Caroline Sandovich showed exactly why she's the defender of the conference. I mean, fantastic play out of her. And JMU showed that they have a lot more goal scorers than Hannah Haven, so whoever they see on Sunday, they've got to be ready for them.